is part 2 of a conversation that started last week. It's all part of our Ghana month. We're celebrating all things Ghanaian. So last week, we asked you to tell us what the Ghanaian woman brings to the table. Our guest, Nana Banamwa, said Ghanaian women are perfect. No room for improvement whatsoever. Well, as for us Ghanaian men, I think we want to improve, don't we? So,
well, if there's room for improvement, why not?
Yes.
We want to improve. But
Yes.
if we are perfect according to the population, we'll just take it like that.
Everything can be improved. So we certainly want to know what you think of Ghanaian men. And we've brought together 2 of our friends to help us with this conversation. Now, you've seen her as the host of Diplomatic Affairs. Harriet Nartey joins us this morning. It's a pleasure to have you, Harriet. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to your listeners as well.
Yeah.
Are you okay, Kujo?
I'm okay. There's a secret code to that question. Yes, I'm okay, Harriet. And we'll be joined on the phone by John Dumelo, who needs no introduction.
He's on the phone, actually.
He's on the phone. Good. John, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kojo, and good morning to everybody.
I have no doubt that you did for us this morning.
All the time.
All right, listen, so we've been asking, people to complete our sentence for us. And I think maybe that's how I'd like to start our conversation in the studio. Okay, so Harriet, complete the sentence. Ghanaian men
are resourceful,
okay,
bold, proud.
Which of the prouds?
I will definitely break it down. It depends on the context. But they are bold, they have values, and they are very outstanding. So for me, that is it for Ghanaian men.
Okay, resourceful, bold, proud, and outstanding. Love it. Okay, now, are you able to say this because maybe you have experience of non-Ghanaian men as well as, host of Diplomatic Affairs?
But Kojo, what has Diplomatic Affairs got to do with this morning's topic?
I'm just imagining that it will have taken you to many places.
Right. So I think what we usually read on the internet or all the articles that point out to the traits of a Ghanaian man, and then your personal experience with, a Ghanaian man. So for me, I would rather prefer to share my personal experience with them rather than read what has been put out there, where anybody at all can just access that and make up their mind that that is what it is. But how about your own personal experience with men, or your experience with women, for instance? You would want to speak from your own perspective. And for me, I think that's what I have gathered so far. Okay. Well, you talked about Nanabe's response or reaction to this particular issue when we're doing the opposite. Ghanaian men, women, they are faultless. They are, perfect.
Faultless and perfect. Okay.
Yeah, so
even though I don't want to go back and redo last week's topic, thank you for your addition. It looks like the consensus is that you are faultless and perfect.
That is not it. But then
flawless.
That's her reaction to this particular topic. And I'm thinking that it depends on the situation that you are meeting a person and your experience, how you act and how they react. Based on that, you are able to assume, have your own mind made up on how they relate to you. So yes, they are not perfect. They have the other part of them, which is not what we would want to experience. But at the end of the day, I think this actually, the good outweighs the bad.
Okay, so we're still talking about men, because
today's still talking about men.
Okay, the good outweighs the bad.
Yes.
Okay, what's the bad? What's the downside of Ghanaian men?
So when I mentioned pride, you asked in which context. Pride would stem from the culture. Traditionally, sometimes I think it comes out wrongly, but that may not really be the message they want to put out there. They are very protective or overly protective. It is because they care. And sometimes by showing that I care, then then you overdo things and the person feels uncomfortable. So pride in this context is they do not want to accept help. Like, can I help you? I feel like you need help, Kojo. Like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Can I? No. I got this. But it depends on how the message comes out that we feel like, or we actually misread the message, or we think that, this is what but in some cases you would be surprised. They really mean well. Just that the approach to showing that we mean well may not come out the way we want it to.
So the downside is that we don't really accept help.
Yes.
Well. Okay. I want to bring John in. And John, I don't know if you are aware of this, but in many parts of the world, when somebody says Ghanaian man, the person that comes to their mind is you. You are our brand ambassador. But look, I think it's important. This conversation cannot go without Ghanaian men themselves, talking about how we see ourselves.
Yeah.
So finish our sentence for us. Ghanaian men.
I think Ghanaian men are respectful. We are generous. But the generous comes with our spirit. So we are probably economical with our finances sometimes.
Say that last part again.
We are loving. Of course, we are courageous. We are appreciative, and we are risk takers. That is what I would like to describe, the typical Ghanaian man.
Okay.
The reason why I said we are generous with an asterisk is that, some people would argue that, Ghanaian men are stingy and so on and so forth. No, I don't think it's that. I think that we look at things and analyze things before we decide to be generous. That's what I feel. Respectful because of our cultural values, of how we were brought up, of our environment. Of course, we respect a lot of women. I mean, the majority of Ghanaian men respect women a lot. And as for the loving and being risk takers, I mean, men are risk takers generally. We would like to take a lot of risk. If it backfires, fine. But if it doesn't, we move on and then we applaud ourselves. But I think all in all, the typical Ghanaian man is probably a 9 over 10 person.
Nice score there. I like the score at the end. Do you agree with Harriet when she says that Ghanaian men can be a bit prideful and we are not very good at accepting help?
Oh, we only accept financial help, but the other help, I think it's because, and I sort of agree with it, because we have this ego thing going on where we know we can do it and we will do it, and that is it. But sometimes when you want to help us, it makes us look weak when we know we can do it, And I think that is our little beef. I mean, of course, in my house, my wife sometimes tells me, she wants to help me. I say, Charlie, I will do this. I beg you, laugh. And most of the time, I get to do it myself. So I don't think it's about pride. I think it's about the fact that we know we can get there. I mean, it's like driving and asking for directions. Most men don't like asking for directions because they know they can get there some way, somehow. And we do get there some way, somehow.
Yeah. I suppose I'll ask you to give your downsides as well. What do you think is the downside of Ghanaian men?
Oh, that one, yeah. We all know.
Which one be that?
You really want me to say it on air?
You have to say it.
I think we are generous when it comes to loving. And so we decide to spread our love to more than one person.
So
I think that is our downside.
So you think Ghanaian men are promiscuous?
I didn't say that. I beg. I just said we like to spread our love to more than one person.
We are romantic multitaskers.
Yes. So I didn't say we are promiscuous. I beg you anymore. I didn't say that. I just said we like to share the love. And I don't know if that's a downside, but I feel that, typically that's how we are. Yeah, and I think that's how I see. But also I think some Ghanaian men are also stingy. They don't like to give. Like I said before, we are economical with our finances. But
right.
I mean, if you compare the typical Ghanaian man to, let's just say, another man in a neighboring West African country, they always say, "Oh, Ghanaian men, we are stingy. We don't give. We don't do this." But I think we are changing. Most men these days I know can really give a lot of financial help, and I think by and large we are learning from our mistakes.
Okay. So that's something you think we should actually do more of. You think Ghanaian men should give more financial help?
Well, yeah, they should be more generous. I mean, I think Ghanaian men should be more generous when they have to be more generous. And that's it. We shouldn't always be stingy and try to look like Charlie. We know they give, because I mean, Charlie, the world is small, the world is round, life is short.
Do the feminists agree?
But also have a plan B at the back of your mind.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the feminists agree.
But Kojo, I haven't said I'm a feminist.
Why
do you assume
okay.
that I am a feminist?
You are not a feminist.
Well, Kojo, the bit about Ghanaian men being stingy, I think the men are actually being smart. Yes, I'll say they are being smart because, you see, money is such that when you have money today, you must think of your tomorrow. You must plan before you spend your money. And so when he was talking about, for instance, men not accepting help, I think it's really the fact that, a lot of men don't want to be reminded of their weakness. So today you accept help. Tomorrow it becomes a sound in your ears all the time. So if I can, or if there's hope that I can make it, why don't I just do it? So that in itself is dependent on who is offering the help. If it's somebody who doesn't use it against you tomorrow, you want to accept it. But if the person would use the help against you tomorrow, you want to think twice before you accept it. Or if the person is going to say, "Oh, because I did this for you, do that for me. I did that for you. I did that for you." When you need help and someone helps you and is consistently reminding you of reciprocity, sometimes you want to move away from it.
But why don't we think that way when it comes to taking help?
Well, look, I take help from you because it is help. It's not an investment. If the help becomes an investment, then there's a problem.
But why?
If it is investment, tell me from the beginning it's investment.
Why are we even having this conversation?
We're having this conversation.
Because we are talking about offering help and taking help. Taking help doesn't make you vulnerable.
No.
It doesn't make you weak.
If you just waited for me to finish what I was saying, you would appreciate what I'm saying. John has made a point. You've made a point. And I am building on the point John has made. And I am saying it is not because the men feel that, I can, but it's also sometimes because the man is mindful of his future, what would happen after that help. And you would appreciate it also, that there are people who would help you and remind you consistently of the help they provided. I say, I won't take that help from you. So in that case, I would suffer and get it done at the right time. That's very simple.
Yes, but I suppose the question then is, does it mean that Ghanaian men find it hard to be vulnerable? Because that's what it does. If you are going to be indebted to someone, then you are going to be vulnerable. If you are going to be in a position where someone can lord, the help that they've given you over you, then it means that you are afraid of being vulnerable to somebody who you think might weaponize the help that they've given you, right?
Yeah, but of course, who would want somebody weaponizing
exactly?
Help? So I wouldn't want that.
So does that mean that Ghanaian men have a fear of vulnerability?
No.
Being
don't.
vulnerable is a beautiful thing. Let us not get it twisted here. Being vulnerable with someone who really genuinely cares for you or about you is a beautiful thing. If I'm giving you something, if you need help, and we are not talking about money in this case, it could be help in all kinds of, ways. And so we are not talking about money here. It could be help from any kind of help. If I feel like I can help you, it's not money, some other thing, like contributing to something, in the house or, at the workplace, any environment that you find yourself, and help is being offered by a woman, just because you are thinking that, oh, if I'm taking this, if I'm being offered help and I'm taking it, hold on, just because it is coming from a woman, I need to think twice before I
But is
take
that not the case?
help.
Is
from
that not
her.
the case? Does it not
No.
often happen
Kojo, in this case,
that a man who takes help from a woman
Kojo, we are
ends up
talking about
regretting
the
it?
downside of the Ghanaian man.
Yes.
And we are talking about the things that are not pleasant when it comes to the Ghanaian man. So in this case, we are looking at not accepting help as one of the things that is not pleasant about the Ghanaian man.
I'm with you. And
So let's not
I'm
really
asking-
shift from this.
I'm with you, and I'm asking that is there not perhaps a reason why you find Ghanaian men to be
Why
like
are
that?
you two so fixated on the fact that it is going to be weaponized
Kojo,
against you? I don't get it.
let me-
Just accept that downside of you that, oh, so this is what we do that is not good or you don't like, right?
Kojo,
Now, this is one
see
of the
how-
traits,
you see-
characteristics
No,
of a
I-
Ghanaian
you know,
man.
I've-
That's what we are talking about,
you
Kojo.
you see how
I don't
militant you are about
appreciate the fact
a
that
man
you are now
accepting your
making us
feedback.
feel like, oh,
No,
once a woman is offering you.
No. Harriet, nobody. Hold on a minute. Now, nobody has said once a
I am
woman is offering.
offended right now.
Don't be offended because, well, the point is that if you had allowed me to finish, probably you'd have understood. But let me just help your cause and say this simply. Political theory would always ask why people do the things they do. If you know why people do the things they do, then you're better placed to help these persons. I started by saying it depends on who is offering the help. So if I know that you're offering me help and you won't come back the next time reminding me of the help, if you're offering me help and your help is not investment, help could be in any form, but could be investment. There are people who offer help and it's investment for them. So I need to also know where you're coming from. This is not being, this is not, yes, you could see it as a downside, but you must also understand why the man behaves that way. You started by talking about tradition.
Right.
In the tradition, for instance, yes, about Tutu. And when a man is born, when he's giving all the appellations, Obama and everything, he's expected to be a breadwinner. So there are times that men generally would feel, if I do this, then it makes me feel weak. Today, the young men talk about strategic relationships. Today, the young men, you see that young man there nodding. You may not know, but we deal with a lot of young men and women these days. We know how they think. The young men say strategic relationship.
You assume you know how they think.
We know. And as they engage in a strategic relationship, they tell you what they expect and what they do not expect. In fact, they tell you the sort of things they even want to do in these strategic relationships. And I am saying the young men are very cautious of those they get help from. If they know it is you, oh, why not? Fantastic. If it is not you, help could become investment. I won't take it.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
Should we begin to also act that way?
I'm even surprised that you allowed him to explain.
This is, at this point, I think the Ghanaian man doesn't listen. Yes, it's one of the traits, of the Ghanaian man.
Ayo.
Yes, the Ghanaian man doesn't listen.
Perfect Ghanaian woman, we hear you. John, is that what it is? Is it that Ghanaian men have a problem with vulnerability?
I think so. I think that is,
Thank
and
you.
I believe I
Same question.
strongly agree with what he was saying. I think that we've had experience, not what we, but most men have had experiences of when they were down and they are being reminded of, oh, you cry, I helped you before and you didn't do this, and you cry, I've done this for you and I've done this for you. And at that time or at that point in a man's life, you don't have to remind him of maybe the help that you gave him. I mean, it makes him, it breaks him down. And so that is why he was saying that sometimes we are selective of the kind of help that we want to receive. Because if you've had, a past experience where somebody helped you, and then because of a small misunderstanding, they'll say, okay, the money I gave you, you give it back to me. You owe me this. And funny enough, the women, they write it down. They'll write it down from 5 to 6 years ago. And I did this, and I did this, so pay me my. I mean, we don't need to be reminded of such events. And so sometimes, yes, we are very careful of the kind of help that we receive. And of course, we are appreciative of that fact. But if you receive help and later on you go and trumpet it all over the world that, Charlie, when we got married, you didn't have a job. I was the one looking after you for 4 or 5 years and so on and so forth. I mean, it is life. It happens all the time. And so, yes, we are quite selective.
I think it's because you have the tendency of forgetting who held you down or who had your back when you were down, and so we've had to write it down to remind you so you don't forget. What is wrong with that?
No, that's wrong. You shouldn't. Look, let me give you a perfect example. For me, I sometimes when I help people, I mean not in my marriage, but outside. When I help, I don't write it down. So later somebody come and say, "Oh, John, when I was this, you helped." Because I feel if I write it down, what's the point in writing it down? And so with the woman, why do you have to write it down if or when you've helped your spouse and say, "Oh, on the 25th of January at 7:55 p.m. I gave you 3,000."
They have all the minute details.
In detail.
Yes, and they'll give you details. And then they'll calculate everything. It's okay.
John, that was just by the way. But we really would appreciate it if you could work on that side of you, as men. Because we want you to come to us when you need help. You should have a very good mind, devoid of any motive, and just take it when it is being offered. You talked about experiences. But is there a problem? Is there a problem?
I would answer you. I would answer you.
I want to bring in someone on the phone. Susan Adu Amankwa joins us. Susan loves our show, listens all the time. Susan, it's good to have you. Good morning.
Good morning, Kojo.
I have no doubt you've got something to share about the Ghanaian man. So I'll give you the sentence, you can finish it. Ghanaian men
are laissez-faire to a fault sometimes when they should take action about certain things.
Thank you.
We're listening.
So I think it's a general Ghanaian thing, but the men are always in the spotlight, actually. And Ghanaian men really can be laissez-faire. There are certain things you expect action, you expect a bit of assertiveness, and then they relax and say, let's see how it goes, and we will take it easy. It will find its way. It can be good at times, yes. You can hasten slowly, and sometimes things do find a level. But there are certain times that action must happen, and then the Ghanaian man is, is relaxed. They are like, hey, Uncle Kamihu Kake, So that I think that we should find that balance. Right. Every virtue, when it gets to the extreme, can become a vice. And I think for Ghanaian men, they need to find that balance where sometimes they need to assert themselves with things. So that is one. And then depending, and one we talked about romantically, depending on which ethnic group the Ghanaian man is coming from, he either has the language of giving, so I would say maybe an Ashanti man, he wants his like Ohima, I don't know, from mouth, things like that, and he'll give and that is his language of love. And for that Ghanaian man, maybe you find a fancy Ghanaian man, his own is raps, and he's like Kujo, no, or Kanoya there, Noya there, and Komode is his language of love. So, depending on where they find themselves, their language of love, that is the Ghanaian man. Okay. But the general Ghanaian man is talking about that. He doesn't know how to cuddle. You must collect one round. He asked for cuddle. He doesn't know.
Susan.
This didn't come from me.
You don't cuddle and leave it at that. You must collect one round. That's the Ghanaian man for you.
Winston here, I'm interested in a point you made. You said when you need them to take action. What action are you talking about here, Susan?
Oh, generally, I mean, maybe there's an issue. It cuts across all spheres of life. There's an issue, and you expect him to be a little more assertive in it, and he's like, "Oh, let's hold on. Let's see how it plays out." So it's not just in one aspect, but in many aspects of life, you find that the game takes a laissez-faire attitude to it, to wanting to see it pan out, in a certain direction before they take action, and that doesn't help too much.
But Susan, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the thing will be done, right?
Sometimes not. Sometimes, the quicker or the earlier the action is taken, then it doesn't. It's better for the situation. So if you wait for it to get to a certain extent, it may be a little too late to, for restoration or making sure that the worst thing doesn't happen. I mean, look, we are in an economy that has fallen flat on its face. Maybe if we had not taken a wait-and-see attitude or something, we may be better off for it. So, it depends on the situation. So, sometimes we need to be a little more aggressive.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, John. Go ahead.
So let me give you an example. So let's just say in my house, right? Something is finished. And my wife will say, "Oh, John, this thing is finished. Can you buy it?" And I'll ask the question, "Please, is the thing finished or it is finishing?" Then she'll say, "Oh, it is finishing." Then I say, "Okay. So that means I don't really have to buy it today. I can buy it tomorrow or even Monday or Tuesday." Then they'll say, "Yes, you can." So I said, "So why are you telling me to buy it today? The thing is finished at all." And you see, that's the issue I have. So when we say we'll do it,
No. When a woman says
there is no pressure,
she means it immediately. She's not waiting for you
Exactly.
to. You are not come to tell her.
But Susan.
No.
Sometimes what John is saying is the situation. I mean, yes, you're being proactive. You realize that it will finish maybe in a week time. You just want to ensure that you have it when it gets finished. But the man is also checked, and he's realized that, if this thing is not finished, we can save that money today. Maybe something may happen tomorrow.
But we, at the come up, about the money. If you about say the thing says it's on the other side of town, and they want you to go and drive and go and buy it.
The stress or quantify them in money.
At this point, are we still talking about the Ghanaian man?
Oh, clearly,
Okay.
you are hearing
We
Ghanaian
are
men
still talking about
defending
the
themselves.
Ghanaian man.
Listen, let me be controversial. I actually think Susan has a point. I think Ghanaian men are slow to action, generally, because we are very deliberative. We want to deliberate and be as sure as possible before we take an action. Okay, we hate to be wrong, or we hate to get it wrong. We hate to throw a resource in the wrong direction. So we want to get it right. And sometimes it means we miss opportunities.
Or you hate to be told what to do?
Oh no, I don't think that's what it
In fact,
is.
we love it when
it's
you
a
tell us.
self-generated
So
idea.
why are you slow to
Even when it's a
action?
self-generated idea, we are slow to take action.
Again, we were just
So-
reminding you.
So I think Susan has a point that Ghanaian men may miss a lot more opportunities than, say, our Nigerian cousins, who might move a bit quicker when an idea comes up.
We are not comparing, are we?
Oh, why not? I don't see what's wrong with comparison.
Okay.
It helps us understand where we are in the scheme of things. Nothing wrong with that. And we can learn from those who are doing better than us. I don't see that as wrong. So I mean, is that a Ghanaian man character? That's the thing I'm interested
really
in.
a Ghanaian man character. Kojo, I'll tell you, we went for a meeting one time, and this meeting was with a particular nation, who are upfront and very outright.
You may say which nation it was.
No, I'm not going to say.
Okay. All right.
So we went for this, and the national for this meeting, they were the sponsors, and they were saying, and they say, you didn't do this, and you didn't do that, and you didn't do this, and you do this. And typical Ghanaian men sitting down quietly, listening to it, and and then then the leader of that group gave a very diplomatic answer. But then one national from that group got up and said, "You know what? They are being nice. they are being typical Ghanaian. They are allowing you to push them, and it is not because they don't know what they're about. They know exactly what they're about. This is their circumstances. This is why this action was taken. So you cannot talk to them that way. And they shut up. But, the Ghanaian men there, they knew what they had to do. They knew what they had to say. And yet they gave some diplomatic answer and made it look like they were incompetent or they didn't know what they were about. But and that is a typical Ghanaian man. If it hadn't been that the other the nationality of the sponsor got up to tell his people that, look, you cannot talk to these people this way. And it is not because they haven't done it. They have done exactly what is supposed to be done, given their circumstances. We would have just, so sometimes we need to be upfront and we need to be, not too diplomatic or don't let it ride. We have to state our place in certain things. And it's a very Ghanaian thing. It's a very Ghanaian thing. They will come out and say, oh, it's okay, it's fine. Say, it's okay, it's fine. It's not fine sometimes. And sometimes you need to really make the point.
I can't help but remember how last week's conversation went. Susan, hey, fire be this.
No, you see, the thing Susan is talking about, I have different experiences, but, let me just move to one other point. She's talked about our Ghanaian men. Sometimes we expect them to take action. I've sat in a lot of conversations with men, married men, and they've said one thing. One of the things they've said is, for instance, that these days, they like it when their women take a lot of their decisions and actions. They like it. And there's a reason they do that. They do that because, Coach, I've told you this before, that years ago I met, a CEO from South Africa who said, you can ask me every question you want to ask me. But in case you want to ask me a question about marriage, let me answer before you ask. They're always right. They refers to women, says they are always right. If you want your peace of mind, they're always right. So I've come across a lot of men who these days, we need to do this. Oh, okay, how about you do it? What would it take to have it done? He says, oh, do it. And he moves on. Now, they do these things. So when it becomes very difficult, and Susan would say by then it would have been late, but when it becomes difficult, he steps in and gets it done. But until then, he wants to sit back, watch you do all the things. And it's nice when the women are in charge in the house, I tell you. It's so peaceful. You're walking around.
We don't want to be in charge only in the house.
Oh, relax.
We
everywhere.
want to be in charge everywhere.
Oh, but that one, you let me finish my point.
Right.
Then, you see, so it's nice. He allows you to take, do a lot of things. So sometimes, yes, I can understand where Susan is coming from. Sometimes, maybe if you had stepped in earlier, you could have prevented certain things from happening. But you just let it go until he feels, okay, at this point, let me get in and solve it.
So, Winston, Kojo, can I please just come in?
Sure, Harriet.
At this point, is it that you allow us to take initiatives because you want your peace of mind? You don't want any argument or or is it that you believe in us, that we are taking the right decisions or initiatives and you believe in us, or you just want your peace of mind, so you just say, okay, it's okay, just go on, it's okay, just go. Or is it that you trust us to take the best of decisions for us?
If we never trusted you, wouldn't have been with you in the first place.
Okay, but that's not how you sounded.
You also let us take decisions with things that you think that this one is nothing earth-shattering. So, okay, let's say take that decision because after all, this one, there's not going to be. But the things that are important, you think are extremely important, and then this one, a man must step in. That's why you won't allow the woman to take that decision.
Oh, no. Susan, let me just help you. Because, see, there are decisions that... the decisions that, for instance, and there was a time something had to be disposed of at home. And a lot of discussions were ongoing. I was listening. So I just came in and said, hold on a second. This guy's trying to cheat you here. Even though I've allowed you to deal with him, the guy is trying to cheat you. You don't do things like that. So when I put the points on, he says, okay, you see, that's why you are the man. When I realized that, I need to step in, I'd step in. But a lot of the times, go ahead. When we need to step in. We'll make it, we'll see. That's why God said, let's create for the man a helper. So you take it, you will come in when it's necessary.
You should allow us to step in when we also want to
and the word
step in,
that is
Winston.
used in the Jewish word, I think it's Ezeh or Ezi. it is the same word when you say God is my helper. So we are a very superior helper. We are not like helper.
It is not in doubt.
Helper.
That's why we
are
allow you
an
to take charge.
extremely
Feel free.
superior helper.
Not for your peace of mind.
Feel free.
Not for your peace of mind.
Listen, this is getting interesting. Why don't we bring you in? Call us, okay? Tell us your thoughts on this conversation, just like you did last week. 0302 216 541 or 055 1111997. Ghanaian men, and then you finish the sentence for us. And I think it has not gone unnoticed. The amount of criticism that Ghanaian men are being asked to take today, compared to the amount. Well, I can't even use amount. The complete resistance to criticism that we saw from Ghanaian women last week. But anyway, I'm sure you've not missed it. Call us 0302 216 541 055 111 997. Ghanaian men, and then you finish the sentence for us. If you are lucky, Winston will help you with your course. But
Winston is helping all
yes,
of us
helping
with
us
our
all
course
with our
today.
courses. But look, we certainly want to take last thoughts from John and Susan before we let you guys onto the phone lines. So I'll start with John. Look, a lot has been said, but ultimately, what do you see as the future of the Ghanaian man? How, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what will we be saying when we come together to talk about the Ghanaian man?
Well, I think 5-10 years from now, you would say, oh, the Ghanaian man has evolved to be a better person. We will say that we now listen a lot to what the women say, and we now are probably, less or quick to action, like what the women want. But I think, all in all, if you want a sound relationship or a sound marriage, just say yes to everything and just agree to everything, so that there's peace in the house.
That's
Don't
what we
argue.
don't want to hear.
Don't argue. But you see, the thing about it, even when you just say yes or okay, they still want a response from you, like, is that all? You're just going to say okay. But you said this is it, okay. So I think the best is, let's just say okay. Let's agree. Let them have their way most of the time, so that peace will prevail. At the end of the day, it's peace that we want. Ghana is a peaceful country, and so our marriages and our relationships should also be equally peaceful as well. So let's just say yes to everything they say, so that there's peace in the house.
Oh God, Susan.
John Pa, you are saying okay for,
John Pa.
just for okay sake, so that you have your peace. The okay means that get up and do something. You don't just say okay so that you have your peace.
Oh my
Really?
God.
The okay means that okay, the milk is getting finished. Okay, I get up and I go across town to buy the milk. Not okay, and I'm still sitting there watching football. It's not an okay. It doesn't,
They can do
it doesn't
better.
work
They
that
can
way.
do better. Right.
Okay.
They can do better.
So, in 10 years, if the Ghanaian man, doesn't step in the traditional patriarchal shoes of his grandfathers, the Ghanaian man will be more receptive to the ideas of his woman and of women at the decision-making table for important things. The Ghanaian man will not see a boss lady or his female boss as aggressive, but as assertive and as a leader and as a nurturing leader. In 15 years, the Ghanaian man, takes all the modern things like that. He would realize that his place in society is not taken over by a woman who's just as intelligent and as resourceful as him, but that she really is an equal who goes to help in moving, development and moving the agenda into a better place for all of us. So that's, I hope, will be the Ghanaian man in 10, 15 years.
Harriet?
Right. Hopefully, in the future, we want to see the Ghanaian man not be diplomatic with everything because they have to portray niceness, gentility, and, loving. And just, we want to see the Ghanaian man listening more, quick to action, trusting the fact that whoever is offering them help is coming from a genuine place. Do not think that it is being weaponized against you, or there is a reason, there's a motive behind that. So going forward, we want to see the Ghanaian man pay attention to details and continue to support, the partner.
Thank you, guys. You're the best. And we're going to hear from our callers now. 0302 216 541 055 1111 997. Even if it's weaponized, don't see it as weaponized. Listen more. Meanwhile, if you listen and you say okay, they say no. Don't just say okay.
Don't just say okay.
I don't know, it's the peace. It's the peace that they don't want you to have. That's what it is. When they see a man sitting there happy, peaceful.
Kojo, that's unbelievable.
That must be changed
Kojo,
immediately.
that's so unbelievable.
You are watching football. Only why? Get up, go and buy milk. Nana is in East Legon. Hello, Nana. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Thanks for calling us. So, the Ghanaian man.
Oh, it's everything I agree with the women. Oh, yes, of course. I don't subscribe to any of what you people say, any of what the men say. Honestly. The Ghanaian man is raised to think that success is his birthright only. The Ghanaian man is raised to think accepting help, being vulnerable, expressing your emotions, the very things that makes us human is weakness. A Ghanaian man thinks a woman cannot be successful, cannot have money, and when they are helping you in that aspect, it's haram. A Ghanaian man thinks that raising a child is a woman's responsibility alone. As for him there, Sikana, then he's done. A Ghanaian man is raised to think that I went from Emba. See, look, long and short, my woman, I 200% agree with you.
Thank you.
I honestly, you see, Kojo, you see why you were arguing with the women when they were about the help, it's our upbringing. That is how we've been raised. That is how we've been conditioned to think. I raised that. I saw my mom do something different with my father, and it blew me away, and it made me see this whole life thing and these stereotypes differently. So when I see a woman, I see a human being first before the danger, and every human being is entitled to certain things. It's not exclusive to a gender, Kojo. And that is what I look out for, not a gender. So my woman, don't argue with the men, okay? That is how they are raised. Unfortunately, not all of us have been able to snap out of us, have been able to look at things differently. See, I was down. It was my woman. She gave me chop money. She fed me. Has it reduced me as a man?
No.
And we are here today, doing well. If you meet a bad person, it's a bad person you've met, not a gender. It's not a whole gender. That is what a lot of us are not getting. It's the same with men. You think men do not do that? They don't do things for women, and when they say break up, they'll go that give me my thing. You think they don't do that? You think men do not express their emotions? Look, because something nagging, and we say it's the women who do it, right? Because they do it in front of their man. He wants the man to listen and do something about his situation. The man do not retaliate or do not say anything in front of the woman. But when he meets his closest friend and you complain, telling my wife this, my wife that, what do you think I should do? What do you call that? Is it not nagging? You are doing that. You are doing exactly that. Just that you are not doing it in front of your woman. So you think you don't nag. Emotions. Which human being do not have emotions? We all have it.
Hey, Nana, other people too are on the line.
Oh, you people, woman,
Nana, can you
Nana, you dear, if your woman has got a gun to your head, you just clear your throat twice. We'll send the police to come and help you.
There is no gun.
Thank you, Nana. All right, let's talk to Kofi in Kumasi. Hi, Kofi.
Hi, Kojo. Handsome Kojos. How are you?
Handsome Kofi. I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, this is Kofi Bageneba.
Yes.
You see, Kojo, men are created same, but we have different characters and different behavior. But like Winston said somewhere in his submission, sometimes if a man wants to exercise even...
Oh dear, what happened there? We lost Kofi. Sorry about that. Kofi, if you can call us back, that would be good. Let's take a few more calls. Theo is in Cape Coast. Theo, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So, Ghanaian men
is stingy, listening, doesn't want help.
It looks like you were listening to our show.
Of course.
Okay. So you agree with the ladies?
I agree with them, and then with you guys too, especially when we're talking about listening. Listening, for example, the okay thing. So, do this. Just for peace, we say, okay, I hear you. For me, for example, I say, Mate. It's just like, so everything Mate. Everything Mate. When I decide to say, okay, I'm giving you what you should do. And it's like, why not Mate today? So for peace, we are listening.
Okay. Thank you, Theo. All right, you can call us to 0302-216-541 or 055-111-997. Ife is in Lakeside. Hi, Ife. Good morning.
Hi. I would like to contribute also. So,
I know.
To me, Ghanaian men are big pretenders. In the sense that you see everything everybody is saying, say yes, and just let the peace be. You know in your heart, you don't want to say yes. You know in your heart, you don't agree with maybe what your wife or your partner is saying, or whoever you're dealing with is saying. But just for peace to remain, you just go ahead to say yes. Same way it applies to work. I think one of your panelists had said something about a meeting with different nations and stuff like that, and the Ghanaian people were just sitting down. I think that they just pretend to be, we're calm people, where we don't like to be confrontational and stuff like that. But really, I tell you, when you hear Ghanaian men bicker behind you, like after this meeting, you will see how they will talk and insult you and tell you who do you think you are. But in front of you, they can never even do that. So to me, I just think they are huge pretenders. They do that in the home. They do that at work. They do that, like, you travel sometimes, and in the airports where you have a Ghanaian men working, especially in Amsterdam, you see when the white man is coming and how they pretend. But as soon as they leave, you yourself, you'll be shocked. But and you know that is not what he wants to tell you his mind. But I don't know why they just pretend not to let A be A and B be B. If I'm unhappy, I'm unhappy. If I agree with you, I accept that I am agreeing with you. So that's my 2 cents.
Wow, that's quite a perspective there, Ife. Thanks for sharing. Let's go to Tema. Hi, Claude. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Kojo. How are you doing?
Not bad at all, my brother. So, Ghanaian men
care. In caring, they work hard to provide. In caring, they protect. In caring, they are critical about how things are done and making sure that things are done perfectly. In caring, they make sure that they bring up their children well and they sacrifice their lives for their families. That is...
I see. Come and see Harriet's face here in this
Nothing.
Claude, thank you for that. God bless you. You can call us to 0302-216-541 or 055-111-997. I see Bala. Is that your name, Bala?
Yeah, that's my name.
Nice one, Bala. You're calling from Spintex, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us. Ghanaian men?
Yeah. Though the other colleagues, what they were saying, is true, but there's something I would like to say. Sometimes the women, I heard the women bashing the men. Sometimes even the women, they have their problem too is there. Like I can give you a very good example. Just this Wednesday, I was with my friend, and sometimes my friend is a very hard worker, and sometimes it's saying like, oh, your wife, your wife should work a lot and take care of the kids and all that. Sometimes I would like you to help your wife. And he told me, I don't know his wife. She takes advantage of everything. And there was this and he gave me a scenario that every night when she cooks, she will do everything and she will bath the children. They told her that she shouldn't bath the children again. That he's going to do that for her. The first day he bathed the children. So the following day we went together to go and watch ball. Can you believe that this woman called my friend and calling her, where are you? And my friend said, oh, I'm at the viewing center watching football. I said, so are you not going to bath the children? And my friend told me, but like this, what has happened? Just one day that I decided I'll bath the children. And she wanted to give the job to me as if it's my way. So sometimes the women, their problem is also there. So they shouldn't do, because the man, our work is to go and provide for the family. So if the woman is the one working, then the man is not working. That's fine. The man can sit home. But if the man is the breadwinner, then the woman has to do everything. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Bala.
But could we are not talking about the women today.
No, we're talking about men. All right, Nanajua is in East Legon. Hi, Nanajua. Good morning. Do we have Nanajua on the line? Oh, we've missed Nanajua. Was that our last call? Oh, right. Okay, so call us 0302 216 541 055 1111 997. Let's go to Osu. Hi, Gertrude. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ghanaian men.
Ghanaian men are protective, supportive, but sometimes I think they overreact. Yeah.
Turn off the radio, please.
They are not supposed to overreact about.
Like what?
For example, yes, like my husband like this. The other caller was saying men do nag. Of course, men nag. My husband nags. Sometimes he complains about things that are not supposed to be complained about. You see, sometimes you try to offer them help and then they take it the wrong way. They see it to be like trying to control them or something. You understand? So I think that side, they need to work on that.
So what does your husband nag about?
Okay, like for example, when I come back from work, I do what I'm supposed to do because we don't have any child. I do what I'm supposed to do, and maybe he's not around and he walks in, and maybe I'm on my phone or something, and then he gets upset.
Oh,
he's expecting to walk in, me sitting down, waiting for him, and I'm like, why? But why? I can't just sit down like just not doing anything, just sitting down so you come so that I serve you or something. No, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes they need to understand that we, the women too, we have our lives to live. The fact that I am married with you, I'm married to you, doesn't mean my life has to stop. You understand? So I think, sorry?
No, we're listening.
Yes, so I think Ghanaian men, my husband, for example, well, I've dated other countries, like it was different. Yeah, you talked about the Nigerians. They are very good at treating women. But when it comes to our men, it's like they are more demanding.
So why did you marry a Ghanaian man?
Well, our elders have this proverb. They say, "Ukom pesero nama ebika." You understand? So, like. Going outside and then maybe you don't know what you meet or what you go through. More times, sometimes it's easier when you are with, someone at least with your phone, but going outside, it's like it's a long road.
Okay. Gertrude, this is fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Wow. Okay, Antia is in Odoko. Our very own Antia is our last caller. Hello, Antia. Good morning.
Hello, Kojo. Good morning.
Antia, Ghanaian men.
Oh, Ghanaian men are romantic. Generally. And 99%. I mean, generally, Ghanaian men are good. Kojo? No. Kojo?
Yes.
Ghanaian men are good as compared to other men in other countries. If you have something and you don't appreciate,
Oh.
In fact, there are some 1%, but generally Ghanaian men are caring. They understand. You see, women become too pompous and they want to push it on them. That's where the pressure comes from, and then they react. But if every woman will understand a Ghanaian man, oh, Kojo, unya,
Hey.
unya, Kojo, I'm married, unya. They are caring. They understand. You see, you don't push a man too much. Women, we have our responsibility. You know our culture.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, we're listening.
The way we were brought up. Oh, Bema, ya Bema. Bema or ya Bema. No matter what you do, man is man, and woman, you are a woman. So I think if we women play our role well and understand who a man is, oh, Kojo Ghanaian man, they are caring, they are loving, they understand, they appreciate. Genuinely from our heart. I'm not lying, no.
You never lie, Auntie.
And they are hardworking.
Oh, they are.
They are hardworking.
Yes.
I think they work so much that they want the family to look good.
Thank you.
Hey,
So I'm pleading with the women. You see, this gender issue. Please, woman, you are a woman. Play your role. At times they expect a man to do certain things, which the man cannot do. Man is man. So for Ghanaian man, they are
you are the new brand ambassador for Ghanaian men. John Dumelo has handed over to you. Thank you so much, Auntie. God bless you. Thanks to all of you who called. Fascinating calls, eh? Okay, Harriet. You've heard the people of Ghana. Thoughts?
Ghanaians have spoken, and we've heard them. I think, let me go back to the first call. Was it Susan who was on the line with John, right? Susan. So I think others have also shared the same sentiments, as Susan, about being diplomatic. For me, I think it's cuts across in all areas of our lives. It moves beyond our personal traits as Ghanaians or the Ghanaian personality. It has to do with even leadership. And just because I treat diplomacy and international relations, I think sometimes, I don't know if it has to do with the Ghanaian hospitality thing, that tag or something, because we always want to look nice. We always want to avoid conflicts. We always want to avoid any, arguments. But I think when the need be, just stand up for your right. And of course, that is how you will be measured as your values. And so for me, I think Ghanaian men, coming back to Ghanaian men, the topic this morning, they are loving, they are very caring, which I already, mentioned when I started, before we started this conversation. I mentioned that they are very caring, they are great, they are amazing, they are generous. Honestly, I wouldn't even say they are stingy and all of that. I haven't experienced anything like that. It depends on who you are dealing with. So do not assume that just because you encountered one bad person, it means that all, generally, that's the mindset you build and that's how you deal or relate with men. It shouldn't be that way. And same when it comes to women as well, how you see women, how men treat women, and, where they position them. I think it all boils down to respect.
Churchill.
Well, look, Auntie has summed up everything.
No, I knew it.
And let me also indicate that, look, I said that different places have different conversations with different people from different countries. Sometimes, just sometimes, if Ghanaian women also knew what women from other parts of the sub-region said about Ghanaian men, they would appreciate their men the more. Because some of the people you think, they are very romantic, ladies from those countries, see Ghanaian men and say, I would choose a Ghanaian man.
I didn't want to say this.
No, I think that sometimes, you don't know what you have until you lose it.
We do.
Well, if you know.
We do, but then there is a downside to it, and that's what we're talking about.
And I think that the average Ghanaian man today, Susan has talked about what she may have experienced, but I think the average Ghanaian man today, wherever he finds himself, is very assertive. He would make his point. He wouldn't be cowed into any submission when he feels he has a valid point. Yes, some people would still want to do things diplomatically, but hey, I mean, I've seen people around in different parts of the world who are Ghanaians, and they stand up for what they believe in.
There's something we believe in here at Multimedia, that the economics of what we do is not in what is produced, but in what is consumed. So I think that as Ghanaian men, the purpose of, or the benefit of today's conversation is that we are hearing from the consumer. We may think that this is what we are producing and it is good, but the consumer says this is what they want us to produce. So in order for us to evolve into this new, better Ghanaian man, I hope that we take some lessons from what we've heard from the consumer today. And may the consumer continue to consume.
Finally, my very good friend Gideon Guruma sent me a message. Says, so the women who keep saying Ghanaian men are like this, like that, please ask them for me. Don't answer. Which other men do they know?
Trust me, they know me. They know.
They know. Auntie, I came through for you.
Let us move on. Thank you all so much for making our conversation so great.